All right, today we are diving deep into one of America's most powerful public institutions, the University of Texas at Austin. This place is an absolute behemoth, academically and financially, and we're going to unpack exactly how it works, from its super unique funding all the way to its global ambitions. So let's jump right in.
First off, you've got to get your head around the sheer scale here. We're talking about a student body of 55,000 people. I mean, that's basically a small city, all packed onto one campus in the heart of Austin. Seriously, everything about this university is Texas-sized.
But here's the thing, it's not just big, it's elite. UT Austin is ranked the #7 public university in the entire country. That means it's constantly going toe-to-toe with the best universities on the planet. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The money. The UT system endowment is a staggering $47.47 billion. To put that in perspective for you, that is the second largest endowment in the entire country, public or private. Only Harvard has more. This financial firepower, well, it's the key to pretty much everything.
And this is their mission statement, their philosophy. What starts here changes the world. It's incredibly bold, super ambitious, and it really frames the university not just as a school, but as a genuine global engine for change. And trust me, this isn't just some marketing slogan, it's a strategic declaration of what they plan to do. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the financial engine that makes UT run, then we'll look at what it's like to be a student there, dive into a really major internal controversy, and then wrap up with the university's massive bets on the future. Okay. So what exactly is this engine? How on earth does a public university get its hands on this much wealth and power? Well, the answer is kind of wild. It's baked directly into the Texas Constitution itself. Meet the Permanent University Fund, or the PUF for short. This is, without a doubt, UT's single greatest strategic advantage. It was literally established by the Texas Constitution, and it's funded by revenue, think oil and gas royalties, from 2.1 million acres of state land. It's like having your own private oil field that just prints money for your endowment. So here's how that system actually works. Money from that state land flows into the PUF. The PUF then pays out every year into something called the Available University Fund, or AUF. And with that AUF money, UT can finance bonds for huge capital projects like brand new state-of-the-art research facilities. Now, the key here, and this is so important, is that it can do this without asking the state legislature for permission every single time. That gives UT the financial speed and agility of an elite private school like Stanford or MIT. All that financial power, it fuels world-class academics. But UT's excellence isn't just spread out evenly. Instead, it has what analysts call a spiky profile. It concentrates its immense resources to be the absolute best in the world in a few very specific, very high-impact areas. And you can really see those spikes right here. Of course, it's #1 in the nation in accounting and petroleum engineering. I mean, that's the bedrock of the Texas economy. But look closer. It's also a top 10 powerhouse in things like information systems and computer engineering. This isn't random. It's a very deliberate strategy to plant a flag right at the center of the tech world. So we've talked about the money, we've talked about the power, but what about the people? With all this prestige on the line, what's it actually like to try to get into this place and become a part of what they call the Longhorn Nation? Well, for starters, the demand is just off the charts. For the fall 2025 class, UT got over 90,000 applications. That's a record-shattering number. It feels like everyone wants a piece of that burnt orange brand right now. But this is where it gets really complicated. See, there's a state law that says 90% of the students have to be from Texas, and because of that, you basically have two completely different admissions battles going on. If you're from Texas, your acceptance rate is around 41%. But if you're an out-of-state applicant, it's a brutal 11.8%, putting UT admissions right up there with the Ivy League. And yep, that two-tiered system extends right to the price tag. For a Texas resident, the cost is what you'd expect from a state-subsidized public university. But for a non-resident, the cost is double, basically the same as an elite private school. So you've really got two very, very different UTs, and it all depends on where you live. But once you get in, you become part of the Longhorn Nation. And that is not just a marketing tagline. It is a massive, incredibly vibrant community with over 1,000 student groups for literally any interest you can imagine. And that sense of community, it lasts a lifetime, creating this powerful global alumni network that's over 600,000 strong.
That network is a huge part of the university's influence and power long after you graduate.
And that whole identity is reinforced by these incredibly powerful traditions. You've got the hook 'em horn sign, lighting the tower burnt orange after a big win. And then there's the biggest move of all to amplify this brand, joining the SEC in 2024. That's the biggest stage in all of college sports, and it was a purely strategic decision to launch the university's national profile into the stratosphere.
But even as the university is reaching these incredible new heights of power, it's facing a really profound internal conflict. It's a fault line that runs right through the heart of its most cherished traditions, and it's all centered on its official alma mater, the Eyes of Texas. So here's the history. The song first appeared in 1903 at a minstrel show, where a university report later concluded it was almost certainly performed in blackface. Fast forward to 2020, and student athletes led a movement to have the song removed. But after a committee studied its history, the university made its decision. The song would remain. And this right here is the core of the conflict. Two positions that seem totally irreconcilable. On one side, you have a history rooted in racist minstrelsy that is deeply, deeply painful for many people in the community. And on the other side, you have a cherished tradition that is fiercely defended by powerful alumni and donors, some of whom reportedly threatened to pull millions in funding if the song was changed. The university is stuck right in the middle, trying to figure out how to navigate the massive tension between its past and its present. So where does all this leave the university? Well, it's trying to manage this deep internal division while, at the same time, making some of the biggest strategic bets in its entire history, all designed to position itself as an indispensable national asset. And here they are, the three pillars of its future. First, semiconductor dominance. They're aiming to become the key research hub for America's massive effort to bring chip manufacturing back home. Second, computational leadership. They already operate the nation's most powerful academic supercomputer. And third, using that huge SEC move to build a truly national brand. Each one of these is a multi-billion-dollar gamble to secure UT's place on the world stage for decades to come. Which brings us to the final and most critical question. The University of Texas at Austin clearly has the money, it has the talent, and it has the ambition to change the world. But its greatest challenge might not be external anymore. It might be internal. Can it forge a unified identity that's strong enough to carry it into that high-stakes future?